Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on, tuning in, clicking on a link. However you got here, we're glad you came. Now, we want you to do one more thing and hit subscribe. Come back over and over again. We have authors, artists, filmmakers, musicians, creative minds of all kinds on the Hangin' with Web Show. So we want you to subscribe and never miss it again. We are at Space Coast Book Lovers all weekend long. We're kicking off the weekend hanging out with author Sharon Buchbinder. Yes, you heard that correctly. Sharon Buchbinder, the author of Eye of the Eagle. Sharon, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. So, Eye of the Eagle. Let's talk about Eye of the Eagle, because that way we'll start with something you know about.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It is the third book in my Hotel La Belle series, and it's pretty much the fifth book in my universe of the Anomaly Defense Division, which Homeland Security is not aware that they have, but it is in the Science and Technology Directorate of Homeland Security. And back between...
You guys didn't even know.
See that? And
that's right.
After World War II, we had this whole Cold War thing going on. And so there was a lot of covert stuff going on, including this organization named MK Ultra and Psychic Warriors. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but we actually had a psychic soldier.
I actually was familiar with MK Ultra and the many experiments that umbrellaed under that,
pretty
including
awful.
the
some
Psychic
pretty
Warrior
awful ones,
and there was the remote viewing experiments that they did, and they're responsible, and MK Ultra was responsible, or is rumored to be responsible for everything from Tuskegee on. All of the medical experiments.
Uranium radiation experiments.
Yeah, it was intense. And you decided to build a universe around that.
I did, actually, because I liked the idea.
Because the reality wasn't dark enough.
That's
so
right.
she was like, hey, I can do
add
better than that.
Another layer of darkness, absolutely. Well, this is a little lighter in that people who are, allegedly in the 90s, they shut down all those programs. However, in my estimation, our government would be stupid to throw out the baby with the bath, because while the statistics were very strong that psychic phenomena did exist and did work, the applications weren't strong enough, allegedly, in the field for detailed work. I disagree, because I've seen some of that stuff. But
and 30 years, by the way, guys, 30 years. MK Ultra and these programs dated back to the early 1960s, in some cases late 1950s.
Yes.
And so in the 90s you shut them down. So it took you 30 years to figure out it didn't work.
Lots of data, lots of data. So I guess that probably what really happened is that division has been moved after 9/11, especially into Homeland, which is a cover agency for just about anything you can think of.
Oh, you could throw, if you just drop money in there and nobody ever questions what it goes for, because it's for security, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what's amazing about that is that you built a universe that is based in a place where there's almost intentionally so much. This is a writer's paradise.
Yes, it's my dream
universe.
It
is literally like the government set up this little universe and said, writers, go have fun. Because for every conspiracy that can possibly be thought of is somehow in there. And you can play with all of them.
And it's all documented. It's all documented.
So there's always a piece of paper somewhere that says that you could be right.
Right, exactly.
There's never, by the way, the government's really good about that. There's never a piece of paper that says you are right.
No.
But there's always one that says you could be.
That's right. And we might have deleted those records, but we don't know which records we deleted. But there might be something about there somewhere.
Could be, could be. So I'll tell you what, though, because you built a fictional universe that's based very much in a caveat of reality, you could say. It's just in this little corner, tucked away, where there's so much stuff. What was the most interesting thing in your research? What was the most interesting thing that you didn't know about? Maybe a conspiracy theory you hadn't heard that you found.
Actually, the most interesting thing was a personal piece, in that in the 60s when I was in college, I realized looking back, that I participated in those studies.
Really?
I was participating in remote viewer studies, and then I also found out my brother was a remote viewer. So
Oh, wow.
he was able to talk to me about that after it was declassified.
I never thought about that. You know, in the 60s, that's where they spent a lot of their time, on college campuses.
That is right.
The
And
kids would sign up to be part of...
Skinner was funded. All of those researchers were funded by the CIA.
Wow, that's amazing.
So,
and to find out, doing your research, that you were in one of those groups?
Yep,
Huh.
I did that. I did that stuff, and so did my brother. So it
Wow.
runs in families. So
That is amazing.
it was fun.
That is
fun.
really, really cool. Yeah. What is the most fun you've had with an existing conspiracy theory or theory about these programs that you've been able to take to the next level in your writing?
Well, with this universe, what I've been able to do is to put all different kind of psychics and people with paranormal powers and talents and abilities, and put them under one umbrella. And for me, it's
She
nice.
like wrote the whole Men in Black universe.
Not quite,
Bam.
not quite. But it's nice because I can have telepaths, empaths. I also use a lot of Native American mythology. So I've traveled to Montana and done a lot of research, been on the Crow reservation, done a lot of research on the Crow culture and people. The indigenous people have so much rich literature to draw on.
Oh, my
So
Lord,
I've been
yes.
able to weave that into the story. So
That's awesome.
it's been really fun to do that.
It
so.
is really, really cool to see an author take, again, these are stories that your universe has been formed over the course of the last, say, 40, 50 years. But to go back and tie that into the Native American culture and a 1,000-year-old culture,
Yes.
that is, it's great to bring those things back to the forefront.
Yes.
Show people where we come from.
Exactly.
As a
So
as a
we're
people.
grounded, yeah.
Now, you had said there's a series, which is one series that takes place in a universe
Right.
that you're working in collectively with others as well. Does each series or the universe, or does it center around a single character or a group of characters in particular, or is it the organization itself?
Well, it's the leader of the organization. Burt Blackfeather is the Anomaly Defense Division Director.
Anomaly Defense Division.
Anomaly Defense Division. What else would they call it? I mean,
Ex-
Paranormal Division? I don't think so. It has to be the Anomaly Defense
Get it
Division.
right, Mulder.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
saying.
Right? Sort of X-Files, Underground.
Boom.
Yeah. So Burt is in the first book, which is Kiss of the Silver Wolf, and there's been genie energy signature that's been spotted by one of his agents who's really thinks that there's genies, and he's not so sure. So he's like Charlie and Charlie's Angels. He has all these agents
And he's kind of
that
putting
he's
everything out
right,
there.
Exactly. And the thing about Burt is that he became such a integral part of the stories because he's related to this one and that's one, his sister, and he the people who are reading my books are like, when is Burt going to get a romance? When is he going to have a story?
Isn't it awesome
Yeah,
when
yeah.
people they get into your universe so much that those are the questions you start answering is, when is this character, who you
Yeah.
might not have even thought of doing too
Yeah.
much with, other than, hey, this is my linchpin,
Yeah,
everybody
that's
goes
right.
through there, and they're like, no, when is he going to get a story? When is he
Yes.
going to get a love affair? When is he going to get
Yes.
something, right?
Yeah.
That's a cool moment for
It
an
was
author.
lovely. It was really great. So Eye of the Eagle, Burt gets his woman, or she gets him.
How long have you been working in this universe?
Since 2010.
2010.
Yeah, so
Wow, how many
Burt's
books?
been around a while. So this would be the third book in the Hotel La Belle, second, so I have 5 books in this universe. So working on another one.
Another
coming
one?
up, yeah,
Awesome.
with a
That is-
serial killer. So.
That is fantastic. Okay, so we're here at a reader and writer
Yes,
event.
yes.
And one of the most fun that I've ever had as a writer is interacting
Mm-hmm.
with readers. What is the best reader moment that you can recount?
Well, I think the best reader moment is when somebody actually recognizes you or says, oh my God, you're the person who wrote that book. And it's happened a lot, so it's hard to pinpoint an exact moment, but anytime or your book made me cry, or your book made me laugh.
It touched you emotionally,
Yes, it's
yeah.
because my day job, I'm a professor, and I write textbooks. So having the opportunity, yes,
Which is not the most fun thing that a writer can write.
Actually, sometimes it is, but
well, I think for the researcher inside, that's got to be fulfilling because of all the work that you get to do.
I am a research junkie, so I get to carry that research junkiness over.
But the actual when you're sitting there at the keyboard, though, your mind doesn't get to play the way it does when you're building a universe.
No, it's true. It's true. But I have been able to take a lot of my fiction techniques and carry it over to my nonfiction, so that the textbook isn't as dry as paste, and so
which for every college kid out there is a definite plus. She gets like, guys, whatever that college professor rating thing is, go on there and give like 18 million stars just for making the textbooks better.
RateMyProfessor.com.
Is that what it is? Yes,
it is. Yeah.
I know that they have it. My kids told me about it. I was like, they didn't have that when I was a kid.
Yeah, the hot ones get chili peppers. I have no chili peppers, and with that,
I'm grateful. The hot ones get chili peppers?
That's right, yes.
I did not know that. Yes. I'm not actually sure that I needed to know that.
I know, right? TMI.
Yeah, but thanks, guys, for that. What do you teach?
I teach a riveting subject, healthcare management. And
healthcare management.
Yes, it's the oxymoron of the world, because how do you manage healthcare? This is a field that's moving. It's extremely dynamic, and so the textbook, of course, is Introduction to Healthcare Management. Rolls right off your tongue, because everybody wants to meet healthcare management, right? So.
Yes, and no.
No, I know.
No, most of us don't even want to meet the healthcare management personnel. We all just want to stay healthy as long as we can.
That's right, exactly.
Wow, and then to write fiction over here.
Yeah, it's fun.
The leap from teaching a very technical field. The healthcare management is healthcare, guys.
Yeah.
There's probably nothing more technical than the human body and the people who work around it. To writing in a fictional universe, and one that's so much fun. I mean, you're playing with conspiracy theories, and things like you said. The research alone is just mind-boggling. What was the transition for that like? Is that something that you always look forward to?
I've been writing since I could hold a pen. I have rejection notes from when I was in high school. I submitted to the man from Uncle. I wrote my script on yellow lined paper.
Yellow lined paper.
That's how old I am out there. But I have all those rejection slips.
We wrote our college papers with a typewriter.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
and carbon paper for some of us.
Yes. Oh,
painful.
I remember getting. I went back to school as an adult, way later, and I remember getting in there, and I was doing my first paper on a computer, and I was sitting there going,
"This is magic.
This is I don't understand this magic. It's amazing."
Where's the whiteout?
Then the backspace, backspace button. You're like, "Hey, look at that!
This is good." Yeah.
Entire paragraphs got moved, and I was like, "Wow!"
Really?
Which was like, when you get your paper when you're like Com 1 back in the day, and you would take it, and you're like, "Oh, I have to move that paragraph. That's going to take." That's a whole page. That's right.
Yes.
Well, guys, we've been hanging out with Sharon Buchbinder here at Space Coast Book Lovers. We're in Cape Canaveral, Florida. It's awesome outside. It's Florida, guys. If you're not here, I don't know why. But we have to wrap it up because they're holding that card up that says we've had too much fun. So we're going to say thank you to our partners and our friends at Famous Faces and Funny, Space Coast Comics, Indie Originals Live, Jay Bauer Art, Josh Bauer, who provides the art for our set, which isn't here today because I'm not very bright. Cogler Emporium for these great set pieces that are here on the table. We want to thank Space Coast Book Lovers for having us come in here, our great friends at Embellish Effects, the fine Foxwood Wine Company, because these chairs are really, really comfortable, and they provided them. Our great friends at Hearts Helping Others of Central Florida. Thank you to Bea and her whole team over there. That's Neighbors Helping Neighbors throughout Central Florida. It's an amazing charity. And our great friends at Krypton Radio. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for logging on. Be sure to share this video and come back over and over again to see who we're hanging with next. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you.